So a moment ago, I had you all type into the chat what kind of work you do. And so I just want to take a moment to take a look at the chat and just check out the amazing diversity of wisdom here. Just grief recovery, naturopath, hormonal balance, creativity, sacred sexuality, resilience, Akashic records, herbalist. I mean, there's just every single facet, shamanic healer, the voice witch. Again, sex and intimacy, life coaching, a medium, a channel. I mean, every kind of business, photography. So you've probably already worked to craft your message. And I really want to appreciate you for the work that you do. That I just, by seeing the work that you do, I can see that you all touch your communities in such profound ways and bring work and healing and expression into the world that it's so needed. So you may have worked with business coaches, you may have worked with copywriters, you may have taken marketing programs, but you're probably here because you still feel like there's room to grow in knowing what to say and how to say it to bring in signups and clients more consistently. So at any time that you need to get up and stretch or move or take a bio break, please do, because this is really about learning while you're in the deliciousness of moving towards a beautiful future. So let's go ahead and dive in. So many business coaches will tell you in your messaging to focus on the pain point, the pain point, the pain point, the pain point. But I believe that people actually want to feel that you already see them as empowered. They want to be able to trust that they can open to you, be seen by you, and that you can empathize. And that if they do open up to you, that you won't look down on them, right? That you are able to see them already as empowered. Does this resonate? Yeah, okay, great. We're getting thumbs up, thumbs ups. Great, beautiful. So I'm gonna give you a writing prompt. Hold on a second, let me just adjust my tech here. Okay, fantastic. So I'm gonna give you a little writing prompt that you can use every time you craft your talks, your sales pages, your social posts, your promotional emails, etc. Instead of focusing on the pain point, we will talk a little bit later about empathizing and naming their struggle. So it's not that we're going into bypassing that entirely, but instead of having the focus be on the pain point, instead focus on this. You can ask yourself, I'll put this in the chat, ask yourself, what are my highest intentions for my dream client or my audience? What are my highest intentions? And then reflect those in your messaging. So my homework for you that you can take with you, I'm gonna put a lot of homework in the chat for you. I will email out a little PDF with this stuff in it as well, just if you're on your phone or can't grab the chat. So this is your highest intentions homework assignment. And I really want you to do this. It's interesting, I give this to my clients sometimes, and some women are able to run with it and some women really get stuck on this. And so it can be a linchpin, but it should be a really fun exercise. It's like after you've taken a walk in nature, you're in your body, you know, we just did this beautiful creative visualization, you're in your joy, you're feeling in your grounded center. Make a list of your 10 or 15 or 20 highest intentions and prayers for your clients, right? This is almost like an affirmation where you are naming what you know is possible for them, whether they work with you or not, what you know is possible for them and for their lives once they do the work or once they have the experience that you're offering. So this isn't about your experience, it's about them, your highest intentions and prayers for them. And then I want you to take that list and I want you to run that list by at least 10 other people, ideally entrepreneurs, like people who understand the value of what you offer, and have them vote on their favorites. So you're getting consensus. You've run it by these like 5 people, 10 people, 15 people, 20 people, and you're like, wow, everybody really resonates with number 5 and number 7. or wow, everybody really likes 3, 4, and 6, or whatever is true. That's really good information about what part of this part of your messaging is really resonating, is going to land, can be turned into headlines, the big bold places on your sales page. And so get these votes, take the time to do this. It's like a little bit of like peer market research. And then just choose the top like 5 or 6 of them and weave them into your sales page, right? So that's just a little homework assignment that is like the first place to start. And the first place I always come back to when I'm writing copy or creating copy for something new, this is where I start. Okay, so this is why you're here. Let's go through the 7 basic sections of a sales page. I'm going to take you through one by one. So the first section is simply your program name and headline. So sounds simple enough. This is your name of your program, and then a single sentence or phrase where you describe the outcome or the purpose of your course. Okay, so your headline, this part is the single most important sentence on your sales page because it needs to capture people's attention right away by putting their deepest desire front and center. So I'm going to give you some examples and then I'm going to give you a little formula. So here we go. Let me go into my screen share here. All right, my dear. So here's one example of a program name and headline. The name itself is powerful, but the name in and of itself we don't quite know exactly what it means. It's like, ooh, magnetize, ooh, I want that, ooh, monetize, ooh, I want that. And then the headline tells us exactly what it is. And you can see that it's really focused on outcomes, results. It's super clear, okay? Here's another one, the Instagram lab, say that 10 times fast. So this is a little more conversational. I like this. It's just a little more conversational here, but we know, okay, I'm getting some kind of Instagram blueprint. And then, awesome, here's the headline. It's in smaller font, but it's like, oh, I'm gonna get this proven plan to be able to convert followers into paying clients. That sounds amazing. It's super clear, it's super crisp. A lot of people would just click that enroll button right then and there. Now I'm gonna give you an example of something a little more spiritual. I love this. This is actually Shanri Noto. She's a woman in our community. And the name of her program is Seduce Your Book, right? I like that. It draws me in. I don't quite know what it means, but it's like, okay. And then she's got a couple of taglines actually. Ignite your wildly luscious embodied creativity and self-expression and use that to write the book that is inside you. Okay, I know exactly what she means. That's awesome. My body feels turned on just thinking about it. And then she also kind of adds on that this is a sensual embodied writing circle. This is going to appeal to the exact kind of woman that she's wanting to attract. And I'm sorry the font is a little bit hard to read on this, but again, I'm going to give you the PDF. So I apologize. It's the font colors were just what was on her website. I like this one too. So I actually came across this ad on Facebook. I don't go on Facebook very often, but I was on Facebook. I came across this ad for this Hips Like Honey program. And I was like, that is so interesting. Hips Like Honey. That's the name of the program. Again, I don't really know what it means. I kind of know what it's getting at, but it's so juicy. Like I was like, I have to click on this. But then I get here and in her sales page, she actually has her little intro video here. So this is the thumbnail for a video. And so if I like to watch videos, I'm going to click on it. So that's a nice little, some of you who, if you like having videos or you're thinking about putting some kind of intro video on your sales page, this is a great place to do it exactly like this. So if I'm not a video watcher, I still get the name of the program. And then here's my headline, ready to cleanse deep emotional stress, get flexible and free your hips in just 20 minutes a day. Yes, please. Yes, yes, yes. That sounds amazing. So those are a few examples. I'm going to go ahead and come out of screen share and give you the Yes, so Anya, I'm going to be emailing out the PDF of all of the slides. Yeah. And the formulas that I'm giving you. So because it's a lot to try to take notes for. So let me go ahead and give you a little headline formula. So first of all, the flow of this headline section is the name, the headline, and yeah, Anya, I'm going to give you the links to all the websites and everything. Girl, I got you. I got you. You're going to get the slides. You're going to get the links to all these websites. It's going to be amazing. So headline section, you've got the name, you've got the headline, and then some kind of enroll now button or link. That's just that very first section right above the fold. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you so much. I'm seeing love in the chat. Love in the chat. Thank you. So here's what I want to say. Because oftentimes women healers create a message that is not clear because they are afraid of sounding like they are bragging or over-promising. Of course, we don't want to overpromise. We don't want to lie in our marketing. And I don't think anyone here would be on board with that. But so then where this needs to come from, this clarity needs to come from, is that you need to own your medicine. To own that your course or your package or your program or your sessions are deeply healing medicine. And to own that, to own your value. Does that land? Type in the chat if that's resonating for you. I just got goosebumps. Okay, beautiful. So in my Rise Sisterhood circle, beautiful. Okay, good. We got some more goosebumps going on. Okay, wonderful. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah, completely. We are medicine women. Me too, the goosebumps. Okay, wonderful. Hell yes, says Alexis. Wonderful. Okay, good. So in my Rise Sisterhood circle, I give women simple writing formulas almost every time we come together to help them elevate their messaging. Because just staring at a blank screen and being like, or even just looking at these slide examples can just kind of draw a blank. So I'm going to give you some of those formulas today as we go through. So I'm going to give you 2 headline formulas. So the first one I like to call seeds into blossoms. I'm not going to go through it completely. You have it. You can take it and make your own. But the examples down below, example A, sacred branding. That's what it is. That harnesses your greatness into a message that changes lives. That's pretty juicy. Example B, a streamlined system that allows your clients to go from A to B while being nurtured. So it's seeds into blossoms. It's like, here's this thing, and it's going to allow you to turn your seeds into blossoms. It's going to take you from where you're at now to where you want to head. So it's an easy way to think about this particular formula. So that can be a fun one to play around with, to journal on your own. And then remember, you're going to want to get feedback before you slap it on your sales page. All right, here's another formula. This is achieve results quickly. So the formula is above. Some examples: launch your creative project in 2023 with intuitive guidance, without procrastination or self-doubt getting in the way. Example B, lower your cholesterol in 90 nourishing days without counting calories. So all of these have a little time frame built into them. You don't have to have a time frame in your headline, but all of these have a time frame where you're promising that they'll get something within a set period of time. Confidently create a gorgeous website in less than a week without spending thousands of dollars on a designer to do it for you. Okay, so take those, have fun with it, bring in your own highest intentions, right? Weave in your highest intentions and what you know to be true because you've been there, right? You've probably created your program or your package, especially those of you that do more transformational work, because it's a journey you've been on, right? You are working with people who are a few steps behind you. You're a few steps ahead. So you can speak from your lived experience. So you don't have to worry about overpromising, because you're speaking from what you know to be true and what you have lived and the results you have experienced or the results you have seen in your clients. Okay. All right, so section two. Here we communicate in section 2, I just put this in the chat. We communicate that we get our audience, we see our audience, we understand, we paint a picture of their experience. So I'm going to go ahead and go into our slides examples again, and then I'll give you some, hold on a second, I'll give you some formulas for this one. Bear with me while I dance with my tech. Here we go. All right, so this section, section 2, is the struggle and the beautiful future. So we're going to focus on the struggle first, and all of the examples I'm giving to you are actually very positive. This is not about poking their pain points and causing a sense of shame or bringing people down or going like deep into shadow. It's just kind of, and then I know that some of this font is small. There wasn't really a way for me to format it to make it bigger, but you will get this in a PDF. So this is the struggle, but it's done in just a very empathetic way. You know, maybe you're still unsure about what your true dreams are. Maybe you're on the path to make a change. Maybe you've been neglecting your own needs to help others. Wherever you are in seeking a more passionate, joyful, purpose-driven life, that is where I come in. And then she just kind of goes on, you know, to kind of paint a picture of living this kind of comfortable life and yet not feeling fulfilled, and then kind of, you know, like yearning for more. And really what she supports women in is really stepping into like building their like purpose-driven project, like building a nonprofit or some kind of like social justice initiative or something like that. And so she's kind of calling them into their greatness here. This is Danielle Scogan, who's a sister in our community. She's a sister in the Rise community. I see you, coach. You're great at what you do, but when it comes to articulating it in a way that reflects your true essence and converts, you feel stuck. You're attracting clients, but not premium clients. You know you need to charge more, but you don't feel confident in only charging premium prices. So this is Juliana Garcia from one of her sales pages, and she kind of I like how she says, I see you. I like that is right there. I see you. And then naming some of the pieces that she knows to be true for her ideal client. And this is great because if you're this person, it's going to resonate. If you're not this person, it's not going to resonate. And that's perfect. This is where we filter people out because we don't want everyone to be a yes. We want our divine match clients to be a yes. So here's another struggle. This is one I identify with. I feel like she's speaking directly to me, and you might identify with this as well. So why does posting on Instagram make so many of us break out in a cold sweat? I totally agree. I'm like, Instagram stress. And so she just kind of goes through what she knows to be true for her ideal clients around just kind of where they're at with feeling a little confused with Instagram and how to actually use it to actually get results in their business. And so she names that. But she does it in this like really sweet conversational way. So again, it's not poke, poke, poke. She's just like, hey, this is probably where you're at. Sorry for the font being a little bit small, but let's see, I'll just read this for you. This is your moment. So it's actually just a lot of positivity infused into this. This is your moment. This is your time to shift out of low gear and get out of that useless Insta routine that hasn't been working for you. Right? It's time to carve a new path, time to open your phone and know what the heck you're doing. I feel like she's totally speaking to me because Instagram is a little bit of a mystery to me. I will admit that. And so she's speaking to the struggle, but she's doing it in this really positive way because she's also saying, this is your moment. It's time to move forward. It's time to move towards profitability. I love this. This is Laurie Smith. She's a woman in our community. She's here in the Rise community. You are unique and beautiful soul. So this is a combination of the struggle and the beautiful future. You are a unique and beautiful soul, and your voice is needed into the world. Want to be a better speaker? I love that. I love that. This is probably my favorite style, is like this, where the two messages are really combined. This is Maren Bach Antonsen. She is a multiple six-figure priestess, also in our community. She's also in my Rise community, in my 6 and 7 figure Queens circle inside of my Rise community. And hers, this is all about the beautiful future. So her marketing message is all about the future. It's all about calling out women's greatness. Our time on the path has brought us to this moment where great planetary transformation. You came to create heaven on earth. It all awaits you. What an extraordinary time to be alive. You are here to be a catalyst for others. You feel the call within you. You know you have a big service and a desire to take your sacred space in the world. Your heart yearns for authenticity and your soul seeks to be aligned with its highest expression. So it's just like all positivity. It's calling me out, but it's also in that positivity, it is highlighting a little bit of like the way that I might be standing still or holding myself back from really moving forward. So I love the way she does it by painting the beautiful future. So if the struggle, if that's just not resonating for you, diving into the struggle doesn't resonate, you can call upon Marin's example of just calling out their greatness, calling out their greatness. This final example is actually from one of my previous sales pages that earned me well over 6 figures over time. And I just focused just on the positivity, like name of the program, you're invited, and this is all about helping you to create money-making offerings, attract waves of income, expand beyond your current audience. So again, I just focus on the positive from my particular sales page. So let's go ahead and come out of screen share. I'm going to give you some formulas. So here we go. So here is a very simple struggle formula. I'm not going to go through the whole formula, but I will read the example. So this, I like to call this the you're stuck, but you're empowered and you want formula. So the example, if you use your words to fill in the formula, the example here is you've tried therapy and workshops that have created more love in your relationship, but you've been wanting to unlock your full desire for each other because you know deep inside you can recapture the magic you felt when you first met. But here's what gets in the way. And that's where you can kind of list the struggle. So you're kind of naming that, hey, you've done some work. I'm calling in people who've done a little bit of work, right? This isn't your first rodeo. You've been together for a while. You're wanting to recapture the magic, but here are some of the things that might be getting in your way, right? It's positioning you as kind of an expert that sees these things. So that's a really great formula that's very positive. It's weaving in, I see your greatness. I see you're on your path, and there's still room to grow. Here's a beautiful future formula. So this is just focusing on the positive. Can you imagine having desired result without a few things that they may want to avoid? And then you kind of list out the tangible examples of what their life can look at once they've kind of gone through their program. You know, imagine if you're able to XYZ, LMNOP, what if you could, blah, blah, blah. We kind of did this in that opening creative visualization that we did earlier. The intention of that visualization was just to kind of bring this very positive, uplifted energy into the space. And you can totally do that with your sales page right here. So you can take this formula, make it your own. This is a great place. This formula I just shared is a great place to weave in your highest intentions. Weave in your highest intentions in the form of use statements. Is this resonating? Type yes into the chat if the lights are going off. This is resonating. If this already feels like helpful and stuff that you can take with you and make it your own. Okay, wonderful. Awesome. Okay, great. Okay, got some yeses. Perfect. Okay, so section 3, I'm going to take a little sip of water. Self-care, spaciousness. Feel free to also take a little sip of your tea. Or your water, my dear. Okay, so wonderful. I'm just seeing the notes come into the chat. Oh my gosh, so many sweet sisters that I've known for so many years here today. I'm so, again, so grateful that you're here. Okay, so section number 3, this is your first person bio and your personal results. And this is a part of sales page. This is a part that is often left out of sales pages. And I will tell you, when I look around at all of the women around me that have very financially sustainable businesses that also are getting at least some of that business through their sales pages, there is a trend to have right on the sales page towards the beginning a first person bio. Hi, I'm Jessica. This is what I'm all about. So this is actually a really important piece because it is a little blurb explaining yourself to your students, right? This could also be a welcome video, but people want to feel connected to their instructor or the person that they're hiring, right? So yes, you can highlight your qualifications and your experience. The way we traditionally think about bios, it's like, I have this training and this expertise and this many years. And like, so we do want to highlight some of that for sure. And remember to let your personality shine and let it be an opportunity to share with them what you're passionate about as related to what you're selling, and a little bit about your own journey. So I'm going to go ahead and give you some examples. Let's go ahead and look at the slides, and then I'll give you a little formula. Okay, so I'm going to go into our screen share here. All right, so this is Laurie Smith. I used another example of hers a little bit earlier. I love this. So this is these screenshots I actually took on my phone, which is why they're vertical like this. And so it starts with lead with authenticity, creativity, and courage. It's like, I just immediately know in the section right above where she introduces herself, what she's all about. This is very archetypical even in nature. Hi, I'm Lori. I'm a public speaking and leadership coach. Okay, great. There's no mystery about what she specializes in. I'm on a mission to blah, blah, blah. And it's beautifully written. Okay, great. I understand who she serves and like what she's about. Think you're not a leader? I used to think like that too. And then she goes into her story. Let me give you another example. I don't highlight the whole story. I'll give you the link. You can check it out yourself. But I just want to give you the sense of just the flow. Hi, I'm Danielle. This is Danielle Scogan. And she kind of goes into kind of what it used to be like as someone who found herself blindly following the status quo for many years. I remember envisioning my life, blah, blah, blah. And then she like took these brave steps. I quit my job. I moved to a foreign country. I discovered my life's purpose is helping women reach their fullest potential. By making the selfish choice of putting myself and my goals first, I found true joy and passion, etc. And then she moves into the rest of her story and who she is. This is actually Vivian Monroe. When I was creating my first course, I was both excited about sharing my passion and overwhelmed with where to begin, what to say, and how to set my students up for an inspirational and transformational experience. So she's telling her story, but she's also naming the experiences that her audience can probably resonate with. Like she's talking about the part of her story that she knows her audience is struggling with as well, right? And these are the exact things that she supports in her program. So it's not just the willy-nilly telling your story, it's very intentionally talking about your story, where you were and what you did to make a shift and where you are now in terms of feeling grateful to now be able to help people in the ways that you do. They're actually seeing themselves in your story. Okay. Now, I really liked this one. I don't go super deep into her story. This is Miriam R. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. She's incredible. I love that her first person bio starts with this very archetypical, like, I am a voice for the wild feminine, the forgotten ways of the goddess, like, boom. Her kind of woman is going to totally resonate with that. I just saw Christine go, woo! For women who aren't kind of in the goddess priestess world, it's not going to resonate. That's totally fine. That's not who she's calling in. She's calling in a kind of woman that is just like, yes, I'm going to get chills when I read this. And then she goes into Hi, I'm Miriam, the creatrix of Moonbody, blah, blah, blah. She goes into her story. I don't mean to sound disrespectful when I say blah, blah, blah. I'm just using it as a colloquialism. So I just wanted to name, like, these are women that I highly, highly respect. Their copy is great. Please check out their websites. I will include the links with the slides for you and send those to you. I love this. Michelle Marlahan's been a sister in this community for a very long time. Michelle, I'm a yoga teacher, body wisdom expert, founder of IAY, which you'll know what that is when you're on her sales page, right? Because this is like the third block, right? And she talks about her approach to life and some of what yoga has helped her with. And I just love this picture too, because there are other full face pictures of her on her sales page. So we do get to see her full face, but I love that this just very intimate, sweet, feminine picture is what she chose. It just really gives you a sense of like the heart and the femininity that she brings with her into her program and her approach to yoga. Let me see, do we have another one? Hold on a second, let me just double check. Okay, so that was the last example here. So let me go ahead and give you the formula. Let's give you the formula. Oh, good. Yeah, Martha. Wonderful. Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Martha said Michelle's work is so beautiful in the chat. All right. So here's the formula for your first person bio. All right. Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad that some of you know Michelle. So here's the formula. So first of all, warm welcome. Hi, I'm Jessica. Whatever was true for you, it's conversational. It's not like, I'm a serious person. It's, hey, and if you speak in slang with your audience, like, hey girl, or, you know, if that's how you naturally speak, or they know that to be your voice, use that, be yourself. This doesn't have to be about being a buttoned up. I was having a conversation with actually with Anya. I was inviting Anya to like a live in-person networking event here in the Bay Area. And I was like, well, you know, our community is really like the flowy scarf entrepreneurs. I was like, this networking event is more like the heart-centered pantsuit entrepreneurs. And that there's like a little bit more of a buttoned up crowd. So anyway, you can be whatever kind of entrepreneur you want to be in your first person bio. If you are a flowy batik wearing priestess, you know, let that show through in your photos, let your heart show through in your first person bio. But remember, it's still about them. So number 2 on the formula, what you're passionate about, but it has to be related to what you're talking about on the sales page. So today I'm teaching a class about how to create a sales page. So one of the first things I said at the very beginning of this class is I'm passionate about women having a clear and powerful message, about women healers having a clear and powerful message, that when you talk about your offerings, people immediately understand the value of what you're offering, right? So something like that could go right here. It's really about them. You're talking about yourself, but it's really about them. But in like a loving way, right? Number 3, your brief story. Now, this is just a few sentences, right? At the most, a couple paragraphs. This is not your long about page, right? This is just a brief story, where you've been, what you did to overcome, and where you are now. Break down the steps you took to reach your desired results, just very, very briefly, right? We saw some examples in the slides before. You can take another look at those later. And then part 4, and this is what I want for you too. It's like, I went through this journey and here is where I'm at, or here's where my clients are at. You can weave in some client success there. And this is what I want for you. And you want to end with a really positive, hopeful statement. Okay. Yeah. Beautiful. Totally. Because your story is not the same as your clients. You know, that's okay, Anya. It doesn't necessarily have to be your story. It could be a client success story. You know, often when people come to work with me, they're struggling with this, this, and this. And we work together to blah, blah, blah. And you know, something like, you know, so many clients have told me, wow, Anya, I blah, 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 something positive, you know, thank you so much, because now we are experiencing intimacy, or now we're having the best sex of our lives, or whatever. Anya does sex and intimacy coaching, which is why I'm giving those kinds of examples. So it doesn't have to be you. It can be speaking to your client's success. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, yeah. All right, so the final thing I just want to say about this section real quick, if you're, make sure that everything in your first person bio is 100% related to what you're selling. So you're not really going into tangents here. So if you are selling a hormone balancing service, make sure all 4 points in this formula relate to hormone balance. So readers can see themselves in your journey or your client's journey and feel inspired about what's possible for them. Okay, is this helpful? I'm gonna do a little bit of a recap, and you can tell me what's resonating so far. Oh, I just realized you can see Chewy. He's my little coworker back here behind me. He'll help you stay in great spirits through the whole class. If you ever feel overwhelmed, just look at Chewy. All right, so recap. Own your medicine, own your medicine, own your value. Make sure you are in a place of feeling your value when you are writing your sales page. Take a walk in nature, do yoga, dance, whatever you need to do to be in that place where you can own your medicine. We're going to empathize instead of poke, right? Empathize. Weave in your deepest intentions into your messaging. I also have given you the formulas. I'm just doing a little recap. And sharing what you're passionate about, sharing your journey in your first person bio, okay? So that's our little recap. Is this helpful for you so far? I know we've been covering a lot and we've been covering fast and we've got more to go. All right, so section 4 is the introduction, and this is actually almost identical to the very first section. So I'm going to give you examples and you're just going to see like, oh, this is almost identical to the first section. So we're not going to go super deep into this because it's almost the same. Here we go. Screen share. Okay. So just like the very first section, we've got the name of the program, and then we've got a headline. You can see in her example, I'm totally blanking on her name, but it'll be in the handout. This headline is a little bit longer than that first one because we don't want to overwhelm people at the very beginning, but here they're looking for a little more information. So this little headline can be a little bit longer. It can be saying something just like in a slightly different way. Okay. We saw Juliana's first section, and now this is the introduction. So a little bit further down on the page, name of the program, powerful headline. So again, it's almost the same formula. Here's the Hips Like Honey. Your transformation starts today. Welcome to Hips Like Honey, your ultimate hip and soul releasing program. I just love her copy. I love how she just took something that could be so nebulous, like who wants to open their hips? You know, but she just makes it like, oh my gosh, I need to. My hips are real tight, and so is everything else. So I love this. So this section, I'm not going to go into super deep because it is almost identical to that first section above. Name, headline, and some kind of sign up button. Okay, and that headline, we don't have to be identical, but it can be very similar. It's okay. Repetition is actually okay on a sales page. Wonderful. Okay, great. Yeah, I love that. If Tessa says it's a fabulous title. Alexa says, I need that. Yes, so do I. Okay. So in a moment, we're going to go into sections 5, 6, and 7. I will also give you 4 additional bonus sections that really help to attract sales. But first, I really need to cover this because, so I want to cover 2 keys to guarantee that your sales page will attract signups and sales. Because just having this template, just having the 7-part template will not magically guarantee you sales. You still have to have a crystal clear and powerful message to plug into the template. So key number 1 to guarantee that your sales page will actually attract signups and sales. Key number 1, you've actually heard me talk about it a little bit earlier, get feedback. This is a huge key to making your sales page irresistible. The sales page is often where women entrepreneurs drop the ball because they don't take the time to get feedback until that point where your messaging is crystal clear and everyone around you is like, oh my gosh, this sounds amazing. Where do I sign up? They rush to put their online course or their program out into the world before their messaging is crystal clear, and then they wonder why nobody is signing up. So it's not just about having a sales page where everything's in the perfect order, right? The secret to guarantee that your sales page will resonate is to get feedback before you share your sales page with the world. And this is the reason that successful companies run dozens of focus groups for their products, right? It's a way to get feedback, to make changes, to put a product out into the world that will be received well and sell well. There's a reason that authors have editors and readers and take the time to make edits and do rewrites. So the women in my Rise Sisterhood Circle get feedback on their sales pages in circle with each other. We get together in small, intimate, what I call Queen's Council circles to give each other loving, constructive feedback. And it's a total game changer when you've had 5, 10, 15 other wise women, bringing it to this little circle and this little circle and this little circle, wise women taking a look at your sales page or an important email that you're about to send or a social post that you want to share to give you exact and loving feedback. So don't skip the feedback. Don't just throw spaghetti against the wall and hope that it sticks. Your sales page is a key to enrolling dozens or even hundreds of people every year into your programs. But your sales page is also where you lose people if it's not clear and powerful. So I want to actually give you a really inspiring example. This is just this incredible example that I would be remiss not to share with you. So Lisa is a dear sister in our community, and her story is really one of really owning her medicine. Lisa is a sound healer. She's a leadership coach. She's a very multifaceted woman entrepreneur with a lot of talents, and she's an incredible facilitator. And she just was not getting the signups and sales that she wanted. And we took a look at her messaging and it was just kind of all over the place. It was just like, come one, come all, I do this, I do that, I do all the things, come all the people. And so she really owned her medicine and took the time to craft a powerful message. And so she announced her new allyship/leadership program with this new powerful message. It was just like, boom, drop the mic. I think she did a couple of Facebook Lives. She also, I think, led a workshop and was just like, hey, here's my new program. And she invited people to schedule a brief consult call with her. She sent them her sales page, which in this case, she was kind of using as an info page to nourish their desire for her program, right? And she took the time to get on the phone. And she ended up earning $20,000 in 1 month. It was her first $20,000 month in new client sales. So she ended up running that program. She built on it. She honed her message even further, and she created an even deeper program a season later, 3 months later, and ended up having a $100,000 income month. And the difference was her message. It wasn't that she somehow was a more powerful healer 3 months later. It was that her message was crystal clear and it landed and people were like, I want that, I want in, okay? So let's just take a moment to take a breath. Taking a breath for prosperity, taking a breath for women healers being paid well for what we do. Okay. So the second key to guarantee that your sales page will attract signups and sales is intimacy. Intimacy. So please don't make the mistake of thinking that your sales page will earn 6 figures in sales or even $1,000 in sales if your pricing is not aligned with the amount of intimacy your audience is experiencing. I'm going to put that in the chat because that was a very wordy sentence. So I'm going to go ahead and plop that in for you. Okay. The higher the price of whatever you're selling means the higher the intimacy that is required for the person to make the purchase. So this is, so if you're if you're trying to sell a like $2,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 program, which I know some of you have, just through sending a few emails or posting on social media, it's probably not going to work very well, especially if you're wanting to rinse and repeat that over and over and over again. Like, it doesn't matter how fancy your landing page is. If you're like, hey guys, sign up for my program, $10,000, going from zero, like opening an email in a busy moment of distraction, to being like a yes to paying $2,000 or $5,000 or $10,000, people need more intimacy to make big purchases. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how a couple of women that I personally know woven the ingredient of intimacy to sell. And so let me go back into screen share real quick. This is a really important piece. I shared Lisa, and actually she's a really great example, right? I mentioned that she took the time to actually have one-on-one little heart connection calls with people. People were like, yes, I'm interested. She actually took the time to hop on the phone with them, right? They slid into her DMs. They were like, I want in, and she took the time to connect. Maren Bach Antonsen, she was one of the examples in the slides, dear sister of many, many years. She creates intimacy with her community throughout the year with her monthly workshops. She calls them activations, and her women's circles. So throughout the year, she's creating intimacy all year long. And then one time a year, she opens up the doors for her deep dive mystery school. It's a priestess initiation. She basically just sends an email to her list, just basically saying, hey, doors are open. And in that email, which is beautifully written, it's calling out women's greatness, you know, now is the time, it's gorgeous. She includes the link to her sales page. And then on that sales page, women are encouraged to book a call with Maren. So Maren also, she one time a year, she opens up her calendar to make time for these calls. And her program fills very easily. It fills like within a week or two. Because through her women's circles and through her monthly workshops, she has a pool of women who already feel really connected to her, who already have experienced her through her activations and her circles. Now, I will admit that having sales calls is time intensive. I do understand that, but it can be worth it when you have a higher ticket offering. Now, that being said, you can absolutely make really great money with a low ticket sales page, right? A sales page that sells something at a lower price. So let me just give you an example of that, because you don't have to sell high ticket items to make really great money in your business. So Lara Zeilen is an author. She's also a writing guide. She does these like beautiful manifestation through journaling workshops. And so she creates intimacy through her online journaling retreats, which are just Zoom. They're like a half day, really sweet. The first time she did this, these are small intimate workshops. There are maybe about 40 folks on the call with her. And so she invited them to join her writing membership. It was like a journaling membership. And 50% of those folks joined right away. So 20 people came in, and she was able to rinse and repeat this a couple of times over the next few months. And so within a few months, she's got $6,000 a month coming in each month for this membership. And I think the membership, I think when she first started selling, it was like $100 a month, and now maybe it's like 150, something like that. So it's low cost and affordable, but it's a significant source of income in her business, in addition to her one-on-one practice and the other stuff that she's doing. So workshops and webinars are also a great place to offer your audience more intimacy so that you're getting waves of signups. So I just wanted to touch on this intimacy piece because it's really important. We would hope as healers that we could just hang up our shingle and that would just be our full practice, right? Our full business, but that's not true. And we would hope that our sales page would just magically exist on the interwebs and that, it would just magically make us millions. But the truth is we do there's some curation that also needs to happen. So let me just put this little recap in the chat. The recap of what we've covered just in this last section was get feedback, get feedback, get feedback, get feedback, and that higher ticket items require more intimacy, that you can create more intimacy through your client attracting events, through enrollment conversations. However, I will say, don't worry, for those of you that do not want to run workshops, or for those of you that do not want to have one-on-one enrollment conversations, I will give you an example in a little bit for a creative way that you can use your sales page in a more automated way. Okay, so I'll give you a really great example that some of you could start doing right away. So let's switch gears real quick. Section 5 is very brief, testimonials or social proof. Let me go ahead and go into screen share. We all know what testimonials are, so I'm not spending a lot of time on this section, but right under section 4 is a great place to place testimonials. And I love these examples of these testimonials just visually being grouped side by side. On mobile, they would be stacked on top of each other, just super brief. It's really clear that it's a testimonial section, what my students are saying. Here's a couple of videos. I really like these, also stacked side by side. It says student love. This is on the Hips Like Honey website, or Hips Like Honey sales page. This is an example of social proof. This is from one of my sales pages, and it was just screenshots taken from the Facebook group with my clients, where they were sharing some of their wins, like, hey, I had this success, I had this success, and just like this kind of the supportive vibe and capturing that. So just testimonials, however you want to do them. Just make sure your testimonials really focus on the result, and that they aren't too long, but they're really brief. I'm happy to answer questions about that later. So the next section, section 6, is what they actually get. What's actually included? What are the modules? Or what are the things that are included? This is Michelle's yoga membership. And it's just really clear visually. You get yoga and movement. You get live virtual classes. You get soul care rituals, right? And then there's some other sections down here when you scroll down. And then just a little bit of clarification around what each of those are. So I really love visual blocks like this. Another example, this is Sean Rhee. She's talking about her Seduce Your Book program. I like hers scrolls a little bit. It's like, and I'm sorry, the font is a little wonky. It's just how it shows up on her website. Week 1, and she kind of has this whole section is about week 1. And then when you scroll down, you see, okay, week 2 is all about this. So I like that too, where it's just kind of following week 1, week 2 down the page. And then an example from one of my former sales pages, where it's like, okay, you get one-on-one coaching. Here's a little bit about what that includes. You also get these sister mind circles and a little bit about what that includes. Let me come out of screen share real quick. So those are pretty, I'm not going as deeply because they just testimonials and what they get, and just naming what they get in a really results-oriented way. So here's my pro tip for section 6, is be sure to explain the transformation your course offers. And you can even dive into who your students will be after completing, right? You can put that right in your course description, right in section 6, right? Leave feeling empowered and able to blah, 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 or leave with clarity for la, la, la. How will it impact their life? Okay. You also want to make sure that you double check on your phone that your sales page, and especially this section, is easily scrollable, that it's not like a huge long, monster of a thing to read. So, and get feedback. So in a moment, I'm going to cover the final section, the 7th section, and I'll also give you 4 creative ways to use your sales page, including an example of course leader Danielle Leslie, who earns millions of dollars selling her course. I'm going to talk about the unique way she positions her sales page. Okay, so type yes into the chat if that sounds good. We're going to be going into section 7, and I'm going to give you some creative ways to use your sales page. Awesome. Wonderful. Okay. Welcome back. We're going to go ahead and dive into these next sections here real quick. And here we go. So, okay, so now I'm going to cover the final section, the 7th section of your landing page. And this is really obvious. You are going to be like, oh yeah, I already knew this. So this is not a surprise at all. Here is the 7th section, which is the investment or how they join. And this section often brings up a little bit of confusion. Like, how do I position my pricing if I'm putting my pricing right on the page? And then how do I invite people to have an enrollment call with me if I would rather have them do that? So these are just some really great examples that I really liked how these women did this. So the investment, section 7 is the investment or how they join. And I love this starts with, so how much does it cost when you enroll today, blah, blah, blah. And she just relists everything that she's talked about. Here's what you get and the value. Here's what you get and the value. Here's what you get and the value. You've probably seen sales pages like this before. I just like how she does it in a very conversational way. It doesn't look salesy. There's no big things that are crossed out or numbers in red or whatever. It's, she just names it outright. And then the next slide is kind of what you would see next. Okay, you have the value that has been listed, the total here's the total value. And then just really crisp and clear, 4 monthly payments or one-time payment, right? She says, I want this course to be accessible to everyone who's pursuing something big or small, new or seasoned, no matter what the stage of business you're in. So she's kind of reiterating who it's for. And the pricing is super crisp and clear. Okay. Here's another one. It's a little bit harder to see. This is another example of section 7, where she recaps everything that you get. And I love that she does it in this way. And then she just gives $1 amount for the total value. She doesn't have separate numbers next to each of them. That's not going to feel right for everyone. So just this one total value, keep it crisp and simple. So I really like that example as well. And then this is just another, you've probably seen sales pages that look like this. It's a little bit more like, well, bam, here's what you get. You get all the things. And then here's the 6 payment option, the 3 payment option, the 1 payment option, really crisp and clear. So yeah, so that's section 7. The final example is if you don't want to put pricing and you really want to invite people to book an enrollment call with you, you can just have buttons on the page. Here's a couple of screenshots, a couple of examples where the buttons themselves are written in the first person as if it is your audience. I'm ready for these results. And then underneath, click here to schedule your zero pressure application call to join, right? This is the high touch support that I want. Click here to schedule your zero pressure application call with Jessica, right? So this is from a former sales page that made me a lot of money. I'll talk about how I used my sales page in a moment, but it's, you don't have to put the pricing, or if you do put the pricing, but you want them to connect with you, this is a great way to do it with just a button and just a really clear words under the button that make it clear, like, hey, you're gonna need to schedule a call with me and this is how you do it.